One of a Kind with Rob Van Dam is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
One of a Kind with RVD is presented by Get Blitzed, and you can get 15% off your order when you head to get-blitz.com and use promo code RVD. Get 15% off.
Part of the crew, I was gone, and I walked by Randy Orton, and I saw him doing that, and he was going, and I was watching, and I said, hey. I said, I do that. I said, nobody else does that but me. He goes, I know, you taught me to do it. Biggest 75 cents I ever earned.
Best. Heck yeah. Reeling in the dough there. Let's see here. I want to make sure. Okay, here's a good one. Phil D. Cesar? I'm going to go with that. Phil D. Cesar. Hey, Rob, have you ever practiced Wim Hall of Fame breathing exercises, Wim Hof breathing exercise, or anything similar? Enjoyed your ECWWE matches throughout Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Thanks, man. You were aware what he means by that, Rob?
I'm not really sure what Will Hof breathing is, Phil, but I appreciate the question. And I definitely did do and still do breathing exercises. I've talked about this before, actually, but what haven't I talked about? But like where to start. So a lot of my training I just did on my own. Like I did the martial arts training with the different dojos, the gymnastics training I did all myself. I never had a coach or trainer, a lot of people ask me about stretching. Like, hey, do you do DDP yoga? Sometimes I do it like with him, but I always have like my own thing, and I have my own stretch routine that I picked up over the years. And it's something that I've always been important to me. I started doing breathing exercises way back in 6th grade when a teacher named Mr. Morris, who was a bit of a jackass, but he told this story about how you can stretch your lungs out, and then you can hold more air, and then hold your breath longer. And I was really into swimming. That's what I did all summer. I was always in a swimming pool, at least from 8 years old on. When my parents went to the campground, I played in the pool. You saw me jump off the diving board on the documentary. And that was really cool how they made it look like I was jumping on Bam Bam with the same
You
guy.
turned into it?
That was really cool. He was talking about some hillbillies that he said lived way up in the mountains. And he was saying that because the oxygen is so thick there, the air's so thick, that there's not as much oxygen when you breathe in. And he was saying because of that, their bodies adapt to it. And he said those guys can hold their breath for 2 or 3 minutes. And I just remember like being, whoa, that is so cool. And he was saying that they have contests so you can hold their breath the longest. And he said those guys just from living up there, which is true because Justin McCauley and all the MMA guys would go to Big Bear up on the mountain and have a place there. They would train for UFC, and so this appeared to be true. It did, but anyway, not only that, but he taught us an exercise that he said that they do when they're having these contests. And what I had to do was pretty simple. You breathe in. And you take one deepest breath you've ever taken in. Like you even like, I switch my posture around sometimes because my weight might be causing my ribs to limit how expanded my lungs can get sometimes, So sometimes it even takes like, whatever it takes. But I breathe in really deep as much as I can. And I usually hold it for a little bit second, but you don't really have to. But I like to, but you let it out slow as you can, like real slow. And you do that 3 times. And what you're doing is you're stretching your lungs out. It's much like, this is the way that I like to compare it. I've always thought this was a good way. You grab a balloon, a brand new balloon, and it's stiff. Like it stretches a little, but it's never been stretched before, so it doesn't really give that much, right?
Yeah.
But after you go, and you blow it, and then and it might there's resistance, but once you get that in, if you let all the air out and then you blow it up again, guess what? Now it's stretched out, and that's like your alveoli that are your sacs that hold the oxygen inside of your lungs. So I always do that before I wrestle, or before I want to hold my breath real long. Or once in a while, I just do it just to try to get a relief of congestion from gravity that I just feel overall on me. Sometimes sometimes that'll give me a break from that. This must have been, I don't know, one time it could have been any time, sometime in the last 15 years or so, 10 years. But I wasn't in WWE, but I was walking down the hallway or whatever. Could have been Hall of Fame. It could have been one of those times that I appeared there for whatever reason, but I know I wasn't part of their crew. I was gone, and I walked by Randy Orton, and I saw him doing that, and he was going, and I was watching, and I said, "Hey," I said, "I do that." I said, "Nobody else does that but me." He goes, "I know, you taught me to do it."
How about that?
Yeah.
Man, how long can you hold your breath for, Rob?
I don't know. It used to be like a minute and a half.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's been forever since I've had the desire to test myself on that. But sometimes being underwater or something, it's fun you got to hold it to stay underwater. One thing I used to do that was really stupid when I was a kid. Tell me if you do this or anybody in the chat room. We used to breathe in and out like that, but we would do it fast. Maybe like 10 times or so. And then at first it would be a big breath, and we'd like put our backs against the wall, and our partner in crime would press on the chest, and you just hold your breath. And then when it comes out, it's like, and you just fall like a sack to the ground. I saw my friend do it, and I was like, "No way, you guys are acting." And they said, "No, we're not. I swear to God, man," because he didn't know where he was or whatever. Come on, dude. I didn't believe it at all. So they told me to do it, and I held my breath, and then they were pressing against my chest, and they're saying, "Do you feel it? Do you feel it?" And I said, I shook my head no, and they said, "Oh, maybe it isn't going to work on him." As soon as they let go, I just fucking bam! I felt like right beside the beanbag they had set up, and hit my head on the floor. So stupid and so dangerous, but we did that for a long time. Like, we got so good at it, we could do it to ourselves by like laying flat I could lay back on my back on the cement, like I'm laying out by the pool, right? Yeah. It's like doing a nitrous oxide hit, if you know what that's like.
Yeah.
When you after a nitrous oxide hit, when your brain's kind of like, it feels like it rebooted. That's a similar feeling. And anyway, I can do that by doing the breathing and then doing like half a sit up and just holding it, and you feel all the pressure and you flex. And then when you go down, when you let it out, it like reboots your brain, and it's so stupid. Is anybody else?
Well, the funny thing is, Rob, the guy who asked the question about breathing, he's like, "Yes, we would pass out."
Okay, good.
He said our chest against the desk in school.
Yeah.
He said, "I had to walk my friend to the nurse's office after he fell off his desk."
Oh my God, dude! We would do so stupid. We would do it in the pool, and then drag each other's body around while you're waking up, and on the swing set, on the slide, doing it on the slide, and then push my friend down. It was so stupid.
I never heard of this.
Oh my God, yeah, yeah. It's a thing, man. Like I said, it's just nitrous oxide is the best way to compare it. Which as soon as I did the nitrous oxide, it went. It was like a little CO2 cartridge or something. I remember first time I remember doing it. It was I remember them being around when I was a kid though. But I don't know. I just remember when there was like a Fish concert and all these Fish fans at an ECW show at the Philly Travelodge, and they were going around with a full ass fucking tank on wheels. But they took to their room and fill up balloons, and they go. We were taking out the balloons, and then when you let it out, your head scrambles, and you're just like.
Oh my god.
Whoa, you know, not fall or anything, but I'm sure some people do. But even just a little, it's just like a little thing where it's like a reboot. You're like, oh my god, like all of a sudden you feel like how much time has passed. You know, it's not something I would recommend. It's stupid, but
Doesn't
come
sound like
on.
it's beneficial.
I'm the only stupid one, guys, in the comments.
No. The guy who asked the question is one of the
Right, you told me, but is it
Yeah,
just me?
yeah.
Is it just
I'm
me
sure
and
there's
Paul?
other people.
Me and Phil, Paul.
You and Phil D. Cesar. Yep. I want to see if there's somebody else that did that too, though. I'm not seeing it yet. I'm sure somebody's done it.
We were always daring each other, like, you know, do it in front of our parents or whatever, without them knowing, you know, like when they're in the room. Stupid.
How did I never hear of that? I've never heard of that, Rob.
Maybe it was a Midwest thing.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was a Michigan thing.